There comes a time in life when you must make a choice between chasing the noise of the world or locking in on your purpose. Too many people waste their lives trying to prove something to those who don't even care. They argue, they fight, they try to explain themselves to people who will never understand. But I tell you today, stop! Stop fighting battles that don't matter. Stop explaining yourself to those who don't listen. Stop wasting your breath on people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Because the moment you focus on yourself and stay silent, that's when your true power begins. There is a power in silence that most people will never understand. We live in a world that is addicted to noise, always talking, always arguing, always proving something. But the strongest men and women I have ever met were not the loudest in the room. No, they were the ones who could sit in silence, focus on their path, and walk in confidence without the need for applause or validation. You see, we've been conditioned to believe that we must always explain ourselves, that we must always respond, that we must always defend our name. But I tell you today, there is a greater power in saying nothing at all, because when you stop wasting your breath on those who don't listen, you take back your power. When you stop reacting to the distractions, you reclaim your energy. When you stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, you set yourself free. Too many people are exhausted, not because of the work they do, but because of the battles they choose to fight. They spend their energy trying to prove their worth to people who will never appreciate it. They argue with those who will never change their mind. They chase validation from those who will never give it, and in the end, they wonder why they feel empty, why they feel drained, why they feel stuck. Listen to me. Your energy is your most valuable resource. What you give your attention to, you give your power to. And if you keep feeding the distractions, you will starve your own destiny. There are people in this world who will never believe in you, no matter what you do. There are voices that will always doubt you, no matter how much you achieve. There are critics who will talk about you, whether you rise or fall. So why waste a single second trying to change their minds? Why spend your time arguing with those who don't matter? Why fight battles that have no reward? The greatest victories in life are not won through words, but through action. The most successful people in this world are not the ones who talk about what they're going to do, but the ones who go out and do it. They don't waste their breath trying to convince others. They don't waste their time trying to be understood. They simply focus, work, and let the results speak for themselves. There is something powerful about a person who moves in silence. Someone who doesn't announce their every move, who doesn't seek approval, who doesn't let the world in on their plans. That kind of person cannot be stopped. That kind of person cannot be shaken. Because when you don't rely on the noise of the world, you are free from its distractions. When you don't need their approval, you don't fear their rejection. When you don't seek their applause, you don't crumble under their criticism. And let me tell you something, people will notice. Oh, they will notice when you stop reacting. They will notice when you stop explaining yourself. They will notice when you walk away from the drama, from the chaos, from the nonsense. And do you know what they'll do? They'll try to pull you back in. They'll say, why aren't you responding? Why are you so quiet? Why don't you defend yourself? But don't fall for it. Don't give in. Because the moment you step back into the noise, you surrender your peace. The moment you engage in their distractions, you lose your focus. And the moment you let them pull you into their chaos, you sacrifice your destiny. There is a reason the most powerful people in history didn't waste time arguing with their critics. There is a reason the most successful individuals are often the quietest in the room. Because they understand that every second spent in pointless debates is a second stolen from their purpose. Every ounce of energy wasted on proving themselves is an ounce of energy lost for their vision. They know that success is not about being the loudest voice, it's about being the most disciplined, the most focused, the most relentless. So I ask you today, where is your focus? Are you spending your days caught up in the noise, or are you locked in on your purpose? Are you wasting your breath on people who don't matter, or are you investing your time into something greater? Are you fighting battles that drain you, or are you walking away with confidence, knowing that your success will speak louder than any argument ever could? The greatest power you will ever have is the power of self-control, the ability to stay silent when the world demands a reaction, the ability to focus on your path when others try to pull you off course, the ability to keep moving forward, no matter what is said, no matter who doubts, no matter who tries to stop you. Because at the end of the day, it won't be your words that define you. It won't be your explanations that prove your worth. It will be your actions. It will be the results of your discipline. It will be the legacy you leave behind. So choose silence, choose focus, choose to walk away from the noise and into your destiny. And when the time comes, when your work is done, when your success is undeniable, you won't have to say a word. The world will already know there is a battle happening right now, a battle for your attention. Everywhere you turn, someone is trying to pull you into their world, into their drama, into their distractions. The world is loud. It is filled with opinions, with noise, with voices that tell you what you should do, who you should be, how you should live. But let me tell you something today. If you spend your life listening to the voices of the world, you will never hear your own. If you keep chasing their approval, you will lose your direction. If you keep getting caught up in their distractions, you will never reach your destination. Too many people are stuck because they are too busy listening to the noise. They are consumed by what others think, constantly checking, constantly watching, constantly comparing. And do you know what happens? They lose themselves. They forget why they started. They forget what truly matters. They allow the voices of others to dictate their every move, and before they know it, they are walking a path that was never meant for them. You see, the world will always have something to say. People will always have opinions about your life, about your dreams, about your decisions. They will question you. They will criticize you. They will doubt you. But let me tell you something powerful. The loudest voices are often the most meaningless. The people who talk the most usually accomplish the least. The ones who criticize are rarely the ones who have built anything themselves. And yet so many waste their time trying to please these voices, trying to change their minds, trying to gain their approval. But listen to me. You do not need their validation. You do not need their permission to chase your dream. You do not need their applause to know that you are on the right path. Because if you are constantly looking for the approval of others, you will never be free. If you are constantly checking to see what people think of you, you will never have peace. If you are constantly arguing, constantly defending yourself, constantly explaining your every move, you will never have time to build what truly matters. There is a reason successful people don't waste their time arguing with critics. There is a reason the strongest minds don't engage in every debate. It's because they know that time is too precious, energy is too valuable, and distractions are too costly. They know that if they waste their focus on negativity, they will have nothing left for their vision. And so they do something that most people will never have the strength to do. They stay silent. They don't respond to every opinion. They don't waste time defending themselves. They don't get caught up in proving their worth. They simply work. They simply build. They simply focus. And let me tell you, when you begin to do the same, people will notice. They will wonder why you are no longer reacting. They will wonder why you are no longer engaging. They will wonder why you are no longer explaining yourself to them. And do you know what happens next? They will try to pull you back in. They will try to get a reaction. They will try to distract you, because the moment you stop playing their game, the moment you take control of your focus, the moment you refuse to waste your time on meaningless battles, you become powerful. And that, my friend, terrifies them. But you must stand firm. You must keep your focus. Because if you allow yourself to be pulled back in, you will lose the momentum you have built. If you let the distractions take hold, you will slow yourself down. If you start chasing the approval of others again, you will forget why you started in the first place. So I ask you today, what are you listening to? Whose voice are you allowing to shape your decisions? Who are you trying to impress? Because if you are trying to please the world, you will never be satisfied. If you are trying to silence every critic, you will exhaust yourself. If you are trying to win every argument, you will lose sight of the bigger picture. The world will always be noisy. The distractions will always be there. The opinions will never stop. But you have a choice. You can either spend your life caught up in the noise, or you can rise above it. You can either waste your energy fighting battles that don't matter, or you can invest your energy into building something that does. You can either live for their approval, or you can live for your purpose. And when you choose purpose, when you choose focus, when you choose to walk away from the noise and step fully into your calling, something incredible happens. You no longer care what they think. You no longer need their validation. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself, because you know that your success will speak for itself. You know that your results will be your greatest response. You know that when the time comes, the world will see what you have built, and by then, you won't have to say a single word. There is a battle that every man and woman must fight, but it is not against the world. It is within. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not the one that stands before you, but the one that lives within you. It is the battle for control, the battle for discipline, the battle for self-mastery. And hear me when I say this. If you do not learn to master yourself, the world will master you. If you do not learn to take control of your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, then someone else will. Everywhere you turn, people are being controlled, not by chains, not by force, but by their own lack of discipline. They are controlled by their anger, always reacting, always lashing out, always letting others dictate their emotions. They are controlled by their doubts, always hesitating, always questioning, always talking themselves out of their own destiny. They are controlled by their need for approval, always looking around, always waiting for permission, always trying to fit into a world that was never meant for them. The strongest among us, the ones who rise above, the ones who succeed where others fail, they have learned the secret. If you can control yourself, nothing else can control you. There is a strength that comes when you no longer react to every little thing, when you stop explaining yourself to people who will never understand, when you stop wasting your energy on things that do not matter. Because let me tell you something, your energy is your greatest weapon. Your focus is your greatest advantage. And every time you allow yourself to be distracted, every time you allow someone else to pull you into their chaos, every time you waste your time on meaningless battles, you are giving away your power. But the moment you take control of yourself, everything changes. When you stop letting people push your buttons, when you stop reacting to every insult, when you stop chasing every opinion, you become untouchable. Because now you are no longer being controlled. Now you are in charge. Now you decide where your energy goes. And when you learn to channel that energy into something meaningful, when you learn to use that power to build instead of to argue, to grow instead of to fight, to move forward instead of looking back, that is when true success begins. But do not think for one moment that it will be easy. No, self-mastery is the hardest battle you will ever fight, because it is far easier to react than it is to remain calm. It is far easier to complain than it is to stay focused. It is far easier to be distracted than it is to be disciplined. That is why so many people fail. That is why so many never reach their full potential, because they cannot control themselves. They allow their anger to control them. They allow their fears to control them. They allow the opinions of others to control them. And in doing so, they remain trapped in a cycle that never ends. But I tell you today, there is a different path. There is a way out. And it begins the moment you decide that no one else will have power over you. It begins the moment you refuse to let the words of others dictate your future. It begins the moment you stop chasing validation and start chasing purpose. Because once you do, once you make that decision, once you commit to mastering yourself, nothing in this world can stop you. There is something powerful about a person who is in control of themselves, a person who does not waste time arguing, a person who does not react to every insult, a person who does not need to prove themselves to anyone. That kind of person is dangerous. That kind of person cannot be manipulated, cannot be distracted, cannot be controlled. And that is the kind of person you must become. So I ask you today, what is controlling you? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it the need for approval? Is it the opinions of others? Because if it is, then you are living as a prisoner to something that was never meant to have power over you. And until you take back control, until you master yourself, until you stop letting the outside world dictate your every move, you will never be free. But when you do, when you take back your focus, when you reclaim your energy, when you decide that nothing will have control over you but you, that is the moment you become unstoppable. That is the moment you rise above the distractions. That is the moment you take your first real step toward the life you were meant to live. And that is the moment the world will see that you are not like the rest. Because while they are wasting time, you are building. While they are reacting, you are moving forward. While they are arguing, you are winning. And when it is all said and done, when the dust has settled, when the noise has faded, you will stand victorious. Not because you fought harder, not because you argued louder, not because you chased their approval, but because you mastered the one thing that mattered most, yourself. There is a reason so many people feel exhausted, a reason why so many wake up tired, go through the day drained, and fall asleep unfulfilled. It is not because they are working too hard. It is not because they lack the ability, the intelligence, or the strength to succeed. It is because they are wasting their energy on things that do not matter. They are pouring themselves into arguments that have no reward, battles that have no victory, distractions that have no purpose. And until they learn to guard their energy, until they learn to protect their focus, they will continue to struggle, continue to feel empty, continue to wonder why they never seem to move forward. Look around you. The world is filled with distractions. Everywhere you turn, someone is trying to pull you into their storm. Someone is trying to get a reaction. Someone is trying to drag you into their drama. And if you are not careful, if you are not intentional about where you put your energy, you will find yourself caught in a cycle of exhaustion, constantly explaining, constantly defending, constantly chasing approval from people who were never meant to walk with you in the first place. But let me tell you something. Your energy is too valuable to be wasted on meaningless things. Your focus is too important to be given away to people who do not appreciate it. Every second you spend arguing with a critic is a second you could have spent building your future. Every moment you spend defending yourself to someone who has already made up their mind is a moment stolen from your destiny. Every time you lower yourself to fight battles that do not matter, you are taking time and energy away from the battles that do. And the truth is, not everyone deserves a response. Not everyone deserves your time. Not everyone deserves access to your mind, your emotions, your energy. Because some people are not looking for understanding, they are looking for a reaction. Some people are not seeking wisdom, they are seeking to distract. Some people are not interested in your success, they are invested in your failure. And the more you engage, the more you give them exactly what they want: your focus, your attention, your strength. But hear me today. You do not have to fight every battle. You do not have to attend every argument. You do not have to explain yourself to those who are committed to misunderstanding you. Because at the end of the day, your success will speak louder than your words ever could. Your discipline will prove more than your explanations ever will. Your focus will take you further than any argument ever has. There is a reason the most successful people in this world are not the ones who argue the most. There is a reason the strongest individuals are not the ones who constantly explain themselves, because they have learned a powerful truth. Silence is stronger than noise. Focus is greater than distraction. And walking away is sometimes the most powerful move you can make. But walking away is not easy. Oh no, it takes strength. It takes discipline. It takes the ability to look at a situation and say, I will not waste my energy here. It takes the courage to let people misunderstand you, let them talk, let them assume while you keep moving forward. And let me tell you, when you stop reacting, people will notice. They will wonder why you are so quiet. They will wonder why you are no longer engaging. They will wonder why their words no longer get a response. And do you know what happens next? They will try even harder to pull you back in. They will push harder, speak louder, try every trick to get you to react. But when you refuse, when you stand firm, when you let your work speak instead of your words, that is when your power becomes undeniable. And that is why you must guard your energy. That is why you must protect your focus. Because if you do not, the world will steal it from you. If you do not, distractions will consume you. If you do not, you will wake up one day and realize that you have spent your life fighting meaningless battles instead of building a meaningful future. So I ask you today, where is your energy going? Are you spending it on things that push you forward, or are you wasting it on things that hold you back? Are you focused on your goals, or are you distracted by the noise of the world? Are you investing in your future, or are you exhausting yourself on things that will not matter in the end? Because make no mistake, what you give your energy to will determine the course of your life. And if you continue to waste it on things that do not serve you, you will find yourself drained, frustrated, and stuck in a cycle that never ends. But if you choose to guard it, if you choose to protect it, if you choose to focus it only on the things that truly matter, then nothing in this world can stop you. Because now you are no longer reacting, you are building. Now you are no longer arguing, you are rising. Now you are no longer distracted, you are unstoppable. There is a power that comes when you stop explaining yourself. A strength that rises when you no longer feel the need to convince people of who you are, of what you're doing, of where you're going. Because the truth is, most people will never understand your vision. They will never see what you see. They will never believe in what you are building. And that is why so many never reach their destiny, because they waste their time trying to convince people who were never meant to go with them in the first place. Look around you. The world is filled with voices. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone has something to say. Everyone thinks they know what is best for you. And if you are not careful, you will spend your life trying to satisfy people who do not matter, trying to win the approval of those who will never support you, trying to get validation from those who will never give it. But let me tell you something. Your purpose is not up for debate. Your dreams are not up for discussion. Your destiny is not dependent on their approval. Too many people waste their energy explaining themselves. They try to justify their decisions. They try to make people understand their vision. They try to defend their choices to those who have already made up their minds. But let me ask you, what has that ever gained you? Has it ever changed anything? Has it ever moved you forward? Has it ever made a difference? No. Because the ones who doubt you will keep doubting. The ones who criticize you will keep criticizing. The ones who do not believe in you will never believe until they see the results for themselves. And that is why you must stop explaining yourself. Stop defending yourself. Stop trying to make people see what only you can see. Because the truth is, your work will speak louder than your words ever could. Your results will be your greatest response. Your success will silence every critic, every doubter, every person who ever questioned you. But the challenge is this: can you stay silent while you work? Can you stay focused while they talk? Can you keep moving forward without stopping to explain where you're going? Because if you can, if you have the discipline to ignore the noise, to push past the criticism, to keep your eyes on the goal instead of on the opinions of others, then nothing in this world can stop you. But hear me when I say this: there will be moments when you feel the urge to respond, moments when you want to defend yourself, moments when you want to prove them wrong with your words, but you must resist. Because every time you stop to explain, you lose momentum. Every time you argue with someone who does not believe in you, you give them power over your focus. Every time you waste your breath trying to convince someone who was never meant to understand, you take energy away from your true purpose. The strongest people in this world are not the ones who argue the most. They are not the ones who explain themselves to everyone. They are the ones who let their work do the talking. They are the ones who stay silent in the face of doubt, because they know that in the end, results will always be louder than opinions. So let them talk. Let them assume. Let them misunderstand you. Because one day, the same people who doubted you will look at what you have built and realize they were wrong. And by then, you won't even need to say a word, because your success will have already spoken for itself. There comes a time when you must learn to walk alone. A time when you must stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for applause. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you before you believe in yourself. Because the truth is, if you need others to validate your journey, you will never take the first step. If you are waiting for someone to give you permission, you will wait forever. If you are looking for a crowd to cheer you on before you begin, you will never begin at all. Look around you. Most people are too caught up in their own lives to understand yours. They are too distracted by their own fears to encourage you to move past yours. They are too limited in their own thinking to support something greater than themselves. And that is why you cannot rely on the world to push you forward. That is why you cannot expect others to see what only you have been given the vision to see. That is why you must walk alone. But hear me, walking alone does not mean you are alone. Walking alone does not mean you are without purpose. Walking alone does not mean you are on the wrong path. In fact, it means the opposite. It means you are stepping into a place few are willing to go. It means you are moving in a direction that most people are too afraid to take. It means you are strong enough to go forward, even when no one else understands. And that is what separates the ones who succeed from the ones who stay behind. Not talent, not luck, not connections, but the ability to keep walking even when no one else is walking with you. The ability to trust the process even when the road is empty. The ability to keep going even when the voices of doubt are louder than the voices of support. Because the truth is, there will be days when you feel like giving up. Days when the silence is deafening. Days when you look around and wonder if you are even on the right path. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments that separate the ones who rise from the ones who fall. Because anyone can keep going when the crowd is cheering. Anyone can move forward when they have 100 voices telling them they can. But can you keep going when there is no sound? Can you keep pushing when there is no applause? Can you keep believing when no one else sees what you see? Because if you can, then nothing in this world can stop you. If you can, then you will become the kind of person who does not need permission to succeed. If you can, then you will find that the greatest strength is not found in the approval of others, but in the confidence to stand alone. And let me tell you something, when you learn to walk alone, when you learn to stop depending on others to push you forward, when you stop needing validation from the outside world, that is when you become truly dangerous. Because now you are not controlled by opinions. Now you are not held back by fear. Now you are moving forward with a power that does not come from the crowd, but from within. And that kind of power cannot be stopped. That kind of determination cannot be shaken. That kind of focus cannot be broken. So if you find yourself walking alone today, do not be afraid. Do not turn back. Do not doubt the journey, because one day the same people who question you will look at what you have built and they will understand. But by then, you won't even need their understanding, because you will have already arrived. There comes a moment in life when you must decide, will you be controlled by the noise of the world, or will you take control of yourself? Will you waste your energy chasing validation, fighting meaningless battles, explaining yourself to those who will never understand? Or will you rise above the distractions and focus on what truly matters? Because the truth is, the strongest, most successful people in this world are not the ones who argue the loudest. They are not the ones who seek approval. They are not the ones who react to every opinion. They are the ones who have mastered themselves. They are the ones who have learned to stay silent and let their work speak. They are the ones who protect their energy, guard their focus, and move forward without hesitation. And that is what you must become. You must be the one who does not waste time explaining, but instead invest time in building. You must be the one who does not let doubt or criticism break you, but instead lets results prove everything in the end. You must be the one who, even when walking alone, keeps walking, because you know where you are going, and you do not need the world's approval to get there. So let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. None of it matters. Because in the end, when the dust settles and the noise fades, only one thing will remain: the results of your focus, your discipline, and your unwavering commitment to becoming everything you were meant to be. Stay silent, stay focused, and keep moving forward. The world will understand soon enough.